And hello, everybody. Well, there we go. The intro started looping again. I always like to end it correctly when it fades out, but I can never catch it in time. Hello, and welcome to our brief Sunday stream. I think today will probably be 2 hours max, maybe only an hour. I want to start having shorter streams, I think. And today is not going to be very chat heavy. I really need to get work done. And in fact, I'm trying to utilize the stream to keep me working, to keep me from looking at Twitter or Facebook or wasting my time. I'm just going to try and get some stuff done here today. Set my mic up. Hopefully it sounds okay. So I'm not going to be doing a ton of chatting today. Just want to warn you in advance. That's why the stream is called Less Talk, More Drawk. Didn't quite make that rhyme work. But I'm nearly at the end now of this shot that's plagued me for ages. It's like a 300 something frame shot in totality, because we've got two characters. In this file I've only got about 220 frames. 200, yeah, it'll be about 230, 240 when it's done. And this character here, the monster's been animated. Actually, I've just got him settling into position, but now I need to do the other character. That's why it's reset the monster. And he's basically just going to be getting very angry. So it should be kind of fun. Close-up facial animation, which is usually kind of fun to do. So let's go and plow out some keyframes and not do a whole ton of talking. But I will check the chat to make sure that I'm coming through loud and clear and you can hear me okay. Alright, let's do it. Let's get some bloody frames done. Got my microphone a little bit closer today, so you get more of that DJ vibe, that like late night, early morning, hey everyone, how's it going? That kind of thing. Alright, so he's basically going to go up before he goes down. He goes, you know, it's that kind of thing, that kind of Three Stooges, you know, actually not really Three Stooges, but you know what I mean, that sort of getting really angry with someone where you start not being able to say even sentences or words anymore. You just sort of go, you know. So we're cleaning up some rough frames here. And this one's pretty clean, this frame here. But you want to see, boy, later on, some of these frames that I'm going to be cleaning up are absolute rubbish. They're absolute garbage. Garbanzo beans, baby. Absolute trash. This one's pretty good. I don't usually draw as clean as this as a rough. Something like that. We want to have the other brow coming in there. And the hair starting to drag. And the jacket flap or jacket lapel starting to kind of drag too as his back comes up. Something like this and that. And then I hope I don't get interrupted today. I emailed my dad this morning. I said, Dad, let's talk on the phone. Don't call me until after 4. Because by that point I was thinking I'd probably live stream. And I'm wondering now, is he just going to call? Is he just going to call right now? He has a tendency to not necessarily read the whole of the email message, I think. Although I think I'm guilty of the same thing. But I want to talk to him. I want to check in with him. Just want it to be on my time. You know? Alright, so the hands... I'm gonna have to fix it later on because it's two characters interacting and I've animated them separately. I've got this bland animation of the monster settling back into position, so I'm gonna have to worry about that later, like with the hands kind of unwrapping and going both behind and in front. I'm just gonna draw whatever for the time being, and then later on I'll make sure that it all works with layers. It's often really interesting and difficult in animation, 2D animation, to get layers to work correctly. Like if you can imagine somebody sat at a table eating their dinner, you kind of have them behind the table because they're sat, you know, it's in front of them,
So they're behind the table, but if they're leaning forward, leaning over the plate, you're going to have one hand kind of in front of the plate, and the plate will be on the table, so it's tough to get all the layers to work properly sometimes, and that's kind of what we have here. He's both in front of the monster and also has his hand wrapped behind it. And you could, you know, put everything on a separate layer and have one hand go, you know, you could have like the monster as one layer, the one hand as one layer, but it's just a pain in the butt. I just like kind of figuring it all out. It's a quick movement too. I think we can get away with not really having things perfect. That's one thing that 3D doesn't really have to worry about too much. Okay, so that's pretty good. It's pretty good. And then we'll have... So it's pretty good. These drawings aren't great, but I think they get the point across. Just going up before he goes down, because he's really mad at this point. He's just seen something that's made him really mad, so it's... You know, that kind of thing. Sorry for just screaming into the microphone there. Okay. The amount of frames left on this shot now is really only these guys left to do. I may add another couple in-betweens here and there, but it's like, what are we at now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 8. So probably about 20, I'd say, because we'll probably add a little bit of easing here and there. 20, I'd say 25 absolute tops on this shot that's been about 300 frames, because it's a 35-second shot. And I've made entire cartoons with less frames of animation than this just one stupid shot. Like something like Michael the Terrible Boyfriend has less animation than this entire shot. And I was lamenting this week how rightfully people think I don't make stuff very much anymore, because it goes so long between uploads. But this cartoon is 6 minutes, and Starbarians 3 was 7 minutes. And if I just made 7 1-minute cartoons last year and 6 1-minute cartoons this year, I think people would not be missing me. They'd go, wow, Harry's been super active this year. So I've been working constantly. It's just that I'm making longer and longer things, it feels like. So alright, I don't know what happened to the hair. I guess it's going to be over here. There we go. Looks like I did something there in the roughed in the hair somewhat. Yeah, so this drawing is not going to be winning me any awards. But it's sort of, it's going to get the job done. I think it'll get us over the line. I think. Could be wrong about that. Let's get the hand. So yeah, guys, I'm not really answering questions too much today. I wanted to go at my own speed and actually get some work done. I enjoyed streaming the other day, but I didn't get anything done. That's always the downside of streaming. It's nice to kind of have no distractions, because really I'm not... What can I do other than sit here and animate? I can't go on Twitter, I can't look at the news, so it's nice in some ways to get away from distractions, but haha, chat is a big distraction. You know, I ended up completely being a self-indulgent storyteller and going off on some really long tangents and I told a ghost story, told some embarrassing stories from my youth when I was young at 93, and I didn't get anything done really that I should have got done. And this is crunch time, baby. This probably will be my last live stream for a while, for like maybe another week. I don't know. I do have some lip syncing to do coming up, but actually lip syncing is not fun to do on stream. Nothing makes lip syncing fun. It's one of my most hated parts of the process. But one of my most favorite parts of the process is having Joyce come in and bring me a little snack. Do you want to say hi, or you want to run away?
Hello.
Hey, Joyce.
Hey, me.
Thank you for bringing me some chicken nuggets.
Oh, you don't have to say how junky the snack was.
No, normally we eat healthy, but we're having like disjointed meal times today, so I'm gonna have a little snack. But yeah, love you. Well, they're really hot, so I'm gonna let them cool off. And I'm really sorry, guys, if you hear any eating sounds. Oh, did I just get mayonnaise on my monitor? Oh, fuck. That's like... I just thought it was water, so I smudged it. I was like, oh yeah, gotta get that off. And now, a little blob of mayo on the monitor. Classy. What a class act. Wasn't that something that Milk Carl recommended? Isn't that in the animator survival kit? Definitely get mayonnaise on your animation desk. We'll be okay. We'll be okay. Jeez, I didn't think she'd put mayonnaise on it though. Yeah, we're having out of whack meal times today because I'm live streaming. I said I'd just make yourself lunch. And she said, well, you know, I don't want to make a big lunch just for me. And I said, well, just put some frozen food in the oven. Put some chicken nuggets in. And then I thought, hey, wait, I want chicken nuggets. So I said, bring me some. Doesn't matter, I'm live streaming. All right, well, that's frame number 2. Yeah, see, I don't really know what's going on down here with the, I guess I'll just draw in the other body parts. Screw it. Because we want to definitely... I don't want to have to go and do that later on. I'll have to cut around it because the character here, the monster, is going to be sort of overlapping this area. And I think the jacket wouldn't be up that high. Alright, let me try one of these chicken nuggets. No, they're still too hot. Oh god. That's really rude. I may have a break in a minute and just scarf it all in 30 seconds and then come back. It is literally like 3 nuggets. It's literally 3. Okay, so he's going down here. He's going down. And the drawing is not great. All the proportions are off. But I think we'll get by. Like that, maybe. Something like that. You know what? I've drawn a lot of these hats now, and I'm still not very good at drawing them. They're annoying things to draw, these kind of fedora-style, trilby-style hats. I hate them. I hate them. Still kind of cheat it a lot and end up drawing a shape that isn't quite accurate. Okay, there we go. And then have some hair. Delaying. Or sort of overlapping down. And then the nose is delaying too. And the eyes are starting to close up here. So put them eyes in, boy. Yep. Like that, and then have the hair. Actually, we'll probably see less of the ear. What is the ear doing? Something like that. Yeah. You're seeing how the sausage is made here, folks. You're seeing how the animation really doesn't look very good when it's slowed down to being 1 frame. That we just linger on for a minute or 2 while I draw it. You can see it's really not anything too special. Okay. I don't like that chin. It's jutting too far out. So that's the nice thing about doing Toon Booms. You can just grab stuff and like shunk it around like that. It's really useful. That is one of the reasons I now do my cleanup in Toon Boom and not in Adobe Animate or Flash, which I still use for compiling because that's kind of what I'm used to. Although I did have a file corrupt this week. I had a Toon Boom file corrupt. Sorry, an Animate file corrupt, excuse me. And I am thinking I'll probably make a more permanent shift over to Toon Boom if that stuff happens less in Toon Boom. Although I don't know, it could do. It could actually be just as likely to happen in Toon Boom. I don't know. Let me finish the rest of my chicken nugget here. So we want that finger kind of coming in there. Like that kind of thing. Oh, this drawing will make you weep. Make you weep. And bring the hair around. And I guess the other arm's just going to disappear. It's going to go behind the monster, so I'll worry about that later. But it's going to do something like this. The other hand back here. Is that a shoulder? What have I drawn there? It's not good when you just have no idea what you've drawn. This is my fault for doing such crappy roughs. It's hard when you've just got so much to do. I think it'll do the job. Anyone that's come by this live stream expecting some quality, they're not getting it. They're not getting it at all. Okay, so... Ooh, come on, Harry, draw the hat. That. You know what? In fact, I'm just gonna draw this frame for the last frame. Draw that now, and then I'll use the onion skin to kind of get the position before it, because I don't trust my ability to draw something that is sequential, one frame after the other, and maintain any of the forms or proportions. No way. Going. Something like that for when his actual movement has stopped. By the way, if you want to see what I'm doing, I'll show you kind of my rough. So the idea is that he sees that the tooth has grown in on the creature. He gets really mad, kind of do some repeating frames for a bit, and then he goes like, hang on, turn on my sound here. Already? So you get it. He's just really angry. So he's kind of gyrating and shaking around and shaking his fist. All right, let me have another of these chicken nuggets before they get super cold. There's a couple of French fries here too, and cold chicken nuggets I think are better than cold French fries. But alright, you won't hear from me for the next 30 seconds because I don't want to eat with my mouth full and talk at the same time. Okay. I guess I shouldn't be eating on stream. I asked Joyce to bring me up the food when she was done making it, and I regret that now. I don't regret the food, but I regret eating on stream. I don't think it's cricket. I don't think you should do it. I think it's disrespectful. I think it's kind of gross. And there's me getting the microphone in a bit closer today, so I don't have to talk quite as loud, but then I'm chewing, so... had trouble with the hair here, because normally his hair hangs down like that, but I felt it kind of would block his eyes too much. I didn't want to put it in the middle of the nose. So I just sort of cheating it by having one tiny piece of hair stick out. And we'll just say it kind of temporarily got shorter. We're just hiding it a little bit under the hat. Something like that. Okay. Okay. And we'll have the other ear. And I have the hat come around. Have a sip of my drink. Okay. And I guess have the hair in there, and then the shoulder, coat and the shoulder thing, the strap he's got on, whatever you call it, the holster. And I think that's good for that. Okay, alright, so gosh, it's so confusing. I lose track of all the jacket stuff, but alright. I'm just gonna say that that's good for that bit. And maybe that. Okay. Oop, my microphone cable just slid off the desk, but that's okay. It's still plugged in. And let's see now. So we want to come in and just ease into that position a little bit more, I think. So I'm actually going to get rid of my ugly guide frames because I don't need them right now. I'm just going to use the onion skin. So we see red and green. And let's try and really closely favor the green here, so let's make sure that we really try and hit that. We're going to be picking on the green frame and making sure we're much closer to it so that the action kind of smooths in and stops very quickly. And that kind of thing. So just make sure that we're really favoring that final ear position. And these fingers in like that. Something. It's a bit wonky. It's a bit of a wonk factor there. There's a high degree of wonk going on. I just love that you can just grab parts of the drawing and smush it around in Toon Boom. That is... There's one other feature I wish Toon Boom had, and that was the line cling from Kakani. I wish that the lines would stick together. Because in Kakani, when you're drawing if you try drawing a square like that, you don't, all of this stuff doesn't happen. The lines just, if they're slightly close, the lines just automatically like click together like that. And you can set it so that it doesn't have to be quite as close, or you can just turn that feature off completely. But I tell you, that is the one thing that Toon Boom needs to get going. And in fact, I have a friend, Ollie Putland, who is an ambassador for Toon Boom. And I think I'm talking to him sometime this week, maybe even today. And I think I'm going to get on his case about it. And I'm going to say, Ollie, they need to put this feature in. Can you please talk to them? Because I think it would make... I'm almost, I'll be honest with you, I'm almost hesitant because it would make other animators' lives so much easier, and I wouldn't have. Sound like such a jerk. It would give them an advantage. I mean, give me an advantage too, but you know. I'm like, no. Then other people, other animators will be so fast and efficient if they get this tool. I'll look even worse in comparison to them for not uploading more often. But you know, you got to help out your brothers, and also you got to help out yourself. So I'm gonna see if they can try and implement that feature because it's pretty great. It's honestly really, really great. All right, let's put in this hat. Finally, I'm like putting it off because I don't like drawing this hat. Big sweeping lines. Something like that. Kind of does the trick, I guess. Gonna have some of these fries that are looking really cold now. Really cold, these French fries. No, it's still pretty good. And kind of putting in the shape of the thing first before I go in and do the details, so that's what I'm trying to do. Guys, my hands have gotten greasy from the French fries. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go on break really quickly. I'm going to wash my hands, and I'm going to finish the rest of this food. It'll literally take me, like... I eat so fast, it'll take me probably less than a minute. I'll be right back. Thank you for hanging on. I'll be right with you, okay? Bye-bye. Hey, I'm back. Trying to get back quickly, and I ran into the door frame, the corner of the door frame with my knee, made the whole house shake, the whole foundations of our little English house shake, and I swore, and there was much profanity, and Joyce came upstairs and said, "Are you okay?" And I said, yeah, I just ran into the door frame. But I'm back! It's gonna bruise up. It is what it is. I'm kind of an oaf. I'm kind of a clumsy oaf. But at least I didn't choke on my lunch. I managed to get that down. And that was really good. But this is how much of a pig I am. I was slightly sad. That's not, that line is looking like crap. I was slightly sad to wash my hands because I still had mayonnaise on my hands. And, I thought I could just lick my hands, but I really need to get back to the stream. I can't just stand here licking my hands in the bathroom like some freak. I got into mayonnaise lately on kind of potatoes and especially French fries. I used to be a big ketchup fan. And I gotta say now, I'm thinking mayonnaise is superior to ketchup for almost any condiment situation. I still like ketchup, it's still very enjoyable, but man, oh man, mayonnaise is where it's at. Okay. Let me get some animation done, or some keyframes. We've already animated this. We're just taking the keyframes and we're cleaning them up. Because they're filthy and they need to be cleaned up. Oh, this George has totally changed his shape. Isn't that great? So it's square here and it's totally egg-shaped there. I'm like my own bad employee who's taking my own characters and making them off model. But like I said yesterday on Twitter, drawing on model is for wimps. And I stand by that. I think that getting stuff finished and out the door, I feel like that's more important, but I probably don't seem like I follow that exactly because I take forever to make stuff. But trust me, I could take longer. I mean, this isn't, I'm not drawing anything perfectly here. I'm trying to go fast. I don't know how other people do it. I was watching anime recently. I've been watching more anime than normal. Not great anime, but that was kind of the point. I wanted to look at some cheaper TV anime, even some modern anime. I watched a little bit of the 7 Deadly Sins, and I wanted to see animation that was not maybe great, but time-saving or kind of budget-conscious, because I know that, anime budgets are tight, they don't pay their animators very well, and they have to get them done in a very short space of time. And I wanted to see, what are people doing these days to cut? It sounds wrong to say cutting corners, but that is exactly what I'm looking for, because I'm one guy, I'm working independently, and I have less budget than a modern TV anime by far. I've got, maybe a tenth of that budget, not even that. And so I'm going to be doing everything I can to try and shave off time. And I wanted to see what people are doing. And that's why I've been watching anime. And Joyce was like, why do you want to watch this show? It's not good. And I said, that's not because I want to watch a good show. I want to watch a show that is doing stuff that maybe I can crib from, maybe I can learn from. And honestly, I think a lot of it is that they pick shots that are easy to do. I think that's like the biggest time saver you can do in animation. Because a lot of the time, even in a modern anime that's done kind of on the cheap, they'll still have somebody, say, getting off of a horse. They'll have this stuff that's hard to animate, annoying to animate. They'll still include it. It's just that if they don't need to show you, they won't. And I think that's the biggest thing. So, for example, if you've got a character coming in, let's say a character walks into a room and everyone gasps. You could have that character walk through the door, and then you have to have the door opening, and you have to have the character walking to a degree. Or you could just have the door slam open, and it's like 2-3 frames, and it's more impactful, and it's also easier to animate. Or you have the sound effect of a door slam open, and then you have a still frame of everyone gasping and turning around. Like just sort of shocked expressions, like they've just spun their heads to see who's walked in. That tells the same amount of story. It still gets across to the audience. Somebody big and important has walked into the room and everyone is reacting to it. But it's way easier to animate. And I think when I come back to the storyboard process for Starbarians episode 4, I've already done about 2 minutes of animation for it, but I still need to do the rest. When I come to the planning stage for the rest of that, I'm going to do everything I can to keep the same story told in a kind of a economic fashion. I think that's going to be my biggest ally, really. So hopefully people won't notice, because when there's things that need to be animated and you need to see it, I'll still do it, but people won't hopefully pick up on the fact that, oh, you know, that's stuff, it's all there, all the story is there, it's just that things that don't need to be shown aren't really shown. Let me see, does he shake here? What's his reaction like? Yeah, he probably wants one more in between here. Probably wants like... So I'll probably stick in one in between there. And just really kind of tighten down that motion so he really stops suddenly but very kind of smoothly. You want to get that nice middle ground between smooth motion and quick fast motion, which is what I'm trying to do here. We actually all have the cartoon timed out already. I think the credits are over in 6 minutes and 10 seconds. That's how long the cartoon takes. That's when our credits are done. Credits start at around, I don't know, probably about 5 minutes and 50 seconds. So I know exactly how long the shot needs to be, and I can't go any longer, so I've got to get this amount of motion in with the amount of time that we have. So the shot ends. If you see, I've got the audio timed out here. This is the last frame no matter what. So I don't have that many frames to do, even if I did it all on ones. This isn't the last shot in the cartoon, but it's one of the last, and the three, excuse me, that follow are very easy. In fact, I may even be able to do both of them today. I won't do it on live stream. I'm going to need to pick up the pace a little bit, I think, and go off stream to do it, but it's really coming in close now. And like I say, the sound is done because there's a few tweaks to do, but I'm going to not be doing that. That's all going to be done by a guy called Ben. Music's done, the voice acting's done, so it's really looking likely that by this time next weekend it could be out, or it could be nearly out, which I'm excited for. And I don't know what I'll do with myself. I mean, I have other projects to move on to, but it's gonna feel really weird. It's gonna feel like I've just got divorced or something, because this is this thing I've been used to for so long, and it's gonna be very strange to suddenly be away from it, but I'm looking forward to it tremendously. It's like a bad marriage, put it that way. It's a divorce I actually want. Unlike my actual marriage, which is one that I do want, because Joyce is amazing, and she brings me them chicken nuggies. We were up last night until, oh my god, this is not good. We were up till 2 AM last night playing Super Smash Brothers on the Switch. I'm not a Nintendo guy. I did have a SNES when I was young, but I mean, I didn't play a ton of games, and like the PlayStation was already out, and I was always like a console generation behind other kids. Yeah, her and I were playing Super Smash Brothers. Is it Super Smash Brothers anymore? Or maybe it's just Smash Brothers. I don't know. But I will say, after being resistant to it for many, many years, I am a fan of the game. I can't help it. It's probably the only game now that is a kind of pick up and play experience that I can have on a regular basis. Or I can actually have fun with the game, and I don't need to get into it. I don't need to worry about story, what was happening in the story. I'm worried about, like, am I going to be able to beat this level? There's no stress. It's pretty much just me and Joyce team battling CPU characters. We can consistently fight pretty much any two level 9 CPU characters, which I know is nothing to brag about because they're CPU characters. I mean, we lose occasionally, but if we lose, we pretty much just reboot it and just have this, make sure we're fighting the same two guys again, and we usually beat them the second time around. But I think we need to step it up now. We're so consistently beating 2 CPU characters, we're going to need to introduce a third one. Probably won't be a level 9, but it'll probably be like 2 level 9s. Maybe we'll start with 1 level 3, like a real idiot character that we can just wail on. That might be, in a stock battle, that actually might be a problem though, because if you repeatedly beat a level 3 CPU character, they'll probably restock from the level 9s, so you can just wail on the weaker character and make sure that they go out like time and time again. And if they keep restocking, they'll basically sap the lives of the characters that are going to be giving you more hassles. So there's probably a disadvantage to that. We may need to make them a little bit tougher than level 3 or whatever. Start with like 2 level 9s and a level 5. But we have done some online matches, and those have been less successful in general. But I think I've gotten a lot better lately. I used to be able to only do like half the damage that Joyce would be doing, because she's been playing many more generations, many more years than I have. And now we're at the point where we're pretty much evenly matched. And maybe we can do some more online matches, although they, like I say, they're a lot more inconsistent. And sometimes you fight people that are great, sometimes you fight people that are terrible. They're usually better than me, and that's kind of frustrating. I want to win. I'm too old and too tired of the world. I just want to pick up the game and be good at it. Beating level 9s, it makes me feel good, but getting absolutely destroyed by some 12-year-old in Canada that plays it all day, and I don't have time for that, is it makes me feel less good about myself, probably. You want to know who I main? I see we got a question from Anatus. Yeah, sorry, I'm not really keeping an eye on the chat today, but I can tell you who I main, and it's a very important thing for me, okay? I do not main Bowser Jr. I do not main Bowser Jr. I main Wendy. She looks like Bowser Jr., or I should say Wendy looks like Bowser Jr. It's the Wendy skin always, and Joyce mains Morton. She's way better with other people, but we both are Bowser Jr. She's Morton, I'm Wendy. And together we are a dope team. And we deliberately did that. We're like, let's just pick 2 dopey characters and get really good with them. And I wouldn't say that we got really good with them, but we're pretty good, I think. I think we're probably some of the better Bowser Jr. players out there. Okay. Oh, look at that. I love it. I love it when... because my hand is occupying this space here. So when I'm dragging the line across and it meets up without being able to exactly see where it's going, that always feels very satisfying. Unlike this line that did not want to meet up here. You can smush it. You can smush it with old Toon Boom, thankfully. Alright, so let me line this up. There we go. That looks pretty good too. That worked out. So this is the frames we've done. We've got him going, ow, 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 and then he slips away into the night. And do we have any of the DLC characters? Jacob Tucker says. So I'm reading the chat. I said no chat, and I'm reading it like a fool. We do. We have Banjo, and we have Terry from... is it King of Fighters? I can't even remember. We have Terry anyway. And do we have anyone else? Oh, we have Hero. I think the only one we don't have... I don't know who's... I actually don't know that much. I don't know who there's been. I know we have Terry, we have Banjo, and we have Hero from Dragon Quest. We do not have the plant from Mario, and I think... is there a character called Joker? I don't think we have him. We didn't get like a season pass or anything. The Switch was a gift from my brother-in-law, Eric, but Joyce is it's basically hers. I mean, it was a gift to both of us, but she's the one that plays it all day. And she does all the other stuff in Smash, like she builds levels and she does, what do you call it, like the spirit board thing, and she plays like the main game. I don't do that. I don't know anything about that stuff. I just pop in for a couple of matches with her as my teammate, which is really nice. It's nice to have a lady you can play video games with. And Terranium was telling me earlier in our Discord server today about the 2-player Morrowind that you can play. Because she is a big Elder Scrolls fan, and way more than me, in fact. And we would love to play cooperative Elder Scrolls. I don't think Elder Scrolls Online really counts because we do want it to be kind of offline. We just want it to be co-op. So yeah, Terranium was telling me about the co-op Morrowind that people have made that works really well. So I would love to try that out with her. And there is this co-op Skyrim mod out there, but I don't know how sturdy that is. But yeah, I think I've got to get a PC set up downstairs so we can do co-op PC gaming. I don't want her playing in my office, sat on a little chair next to me by my desk. That's going to be kind of uncomfortable for us both. I think we want to be on a couch. All right, so let's just spit out these frames and see where we're at. We can put them in our main timeline. Overwrite. There we go. Because so far it's like... Ready? Oh, go. So let's take our frames. Take these broken frames and learn to fly. Okay. You were only waiting for this moment to arrive. Blackbird fly. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Alright, so something more like this. It's not great, but you get the point. So now we'll get this guy in today. What that? Is he gonna be shaking? I don't know, I'll probably repeat some frames so we get that kind of shaking look where he's sort of shaking his fist and just vibrating in anger. Don't vibrate in anger, as the Oasis song goes. Alright, so this is where the rough frames start getting really crappy, man. They start falling to pieces now because I couldn't be bothered to rough them out any better than this. Alright, so the hat is going to be kind of turning, so it's sort of smushing in. And sort of dragging the end of it here. Alright. No, come on. Come on. There we go. We're just looking for a line that works. It doesn't work great, actually. We need to bring this end up a bit more. Maybe rework this a bit. And that bit too. Okay. Have that head drag. Have the nose drag. Get fingers in there. God. So this should be round. Yeah, like that. Yeah, put that knuckle in there. Boy. Sausagey fingers. You're literally looking at how the sausage is made because of the way I draw my flipping fingers. That's looking a bit terrible, Harry. I can do better than that, boy. Come on. Yeah. And one finger is too short. Oh, this finger is too short. Because the ring finger is the long one. No, that's not the ring finger. That is the middle finger. That's the ring finger, I think. And just having the hand sort of start to flip down into like that. So I'll have the thumb curling around here and have the ear tucking away as he turns his big, stupid, meaty head. And try and get the jaw to not be too chiseled, because it's supposed to be slightly based on me. And I'm a soft boy. Softer than this guy. Sure. Okay, I have the eyes still screwed up and tightly closed. And then we've got a little bit of hair coming, starting to drag. And the collar. This is what's hard about working with in-betweening animators and animation assistants. It's like something like this area here. What is it that I'm drawing? I think that's hair, and that's ear, and that's jacket, and that's eyebrow, or a bit more of the head. I don't know. Sometimes I can figure that out when I'm coloring it in and kind of make everything work. But sometimes when you work with in-between assistants and other animators, you give them stuff like that, and understandably they're going to look at it and go, well, what am I animating here? It's just a collection of what's all this crap down here. I get that it's his neck, but what is the shirt and what is the jacket? And that is, it's a nightmare if you're working with other people to keep that level of communication. I've seen some workarounds for that. I've got a book of animation frames by Disney artists, just blown up really big so you can look at it. I can't remember what the book's called, but it's really nice. A lot of the time they just take a pencil and they just color in, lightly color in areas so that in-betweeners and assistants can tell what they're looking at. And or they'll just put labels and they'll be like shoulder, holster, jacket, ear, whatever. They'll just label everything, and I've done that before too. But seeing as I'm the only animator left on this project and I'm finishing all the shots myself, I don't need to worry about that. I can just make whatever nonsense, do whatever, and figure it all out later on. Look at this frame. This is horrendous. I think, in fact, what I'm going to do is finish this one first. And then I'll make sure that this frame before it kind of meets up okay. And we're going to have the hair drag. And the eyebrows, I'm just making them more kind of bird-shaped here so that we get that nice effect when they go back down. You sort of see the inner part of the eyebrow create that S-curve. I'm going to have the end of the hat drag here because it's sort of been just quickly pulled back by the motion of his head flipping like that. Actually, that should probably, the other end of the hat is going to be more like... Oh boy, he's got like a Peter Pan hat here now. Oh, what am I doing? We'll figure it out. Squish the hat a little bit there because it's being dragged up. So when things get pulled in one way, they sort of delay a bit. Actually, let's have his hair start to appear a little bit more now that it's being pulled by the hat or pulled by the motion. Let's have the hair kind of, just so people can start to pick up on that. Let's have the hair being pulled. And we'll finish this frame off. Like that. fist curling up down here, and I'll make sure I clean up the edges of this frame so I can color in later. Okay. Hey, I see there's some questions in the chat, guys. I'm not really doing questions today because I got a lot to do, but I do see somebody asking. Hail Caesar says, if you didn't do art, what job would you have? Well, I think it'd be some form of art. I mean, you know, if it wasn't animation and drawing, if you mean that. I think I'd like to be an actor, which I kind of do anyway because I get to voice act, but boy, I can't really imagine it, honestly. I mean, like video games. Are video games, does that count as art? Because I would go into video games gladly. So it would be that. It would be video games, be music, writing, toys, but they're all forms of artwork, I feel, so it's hard to really answer that question. If it literally couldn't be artistic or expressive in any way, maybe some form of helping people in some form. Like, I think I would like to do some form of, I think fatherhood is a very important thing. So, I mean, I'd like to be a father anyway, but I feel like maybe running a charity to help train young dads and give dads support would be a cool thing to do. Maybe be some sort of form of police officer, a good one, hopefully. I know that sounds unusual, but I do think that you can be a good cop. I would like to be a good cop if I absolutely couldn't do anything in the world of art, but I don't know. I would do anything. I would be so lost. I would just be like, oh god, what do I do? It would have to be something. Okay, so we're gonna get rid of this middle frame here. Now that I've got the position that I know, this is so funny. He looks so rat-like here. This little rat boy. Rat boy. So now that we've got the end position, I can sort of figure out this middle position a little better. Something like that. Maybe the nodes would be dragging more, but I preferred the old nose. And I deleted it. Something like that, maybe. Ah! Can't get the nose, but... Does that sort of work for the hat? Hopefully it does. Bit more of the back of the hat, maybe. I feel like that's what we need right now. We need more back of the hat. So we had a visit about an hour ago, or just before the stream, from a friend of mine. I have named him Fatty Pusskins. We have these cats that always come in our garden that are, I guess, are my neighbor's cats, but I don't know who the neighbor is. There's a black one, and a ginger and white one. There's also a cross-eyed grey one, but we don't see him that often. And the black one is extremely friendly. It's like black and brown. I don't know why I call it black. It's like kind of got like a bit of brown mixed into, but it's very, very friendly to the point it was coming by every single day, and we couldn't actually have the back of our house open because the cat just came in. We couldn't have the back door open. On a hot day, when you're trying to air the place out, this cat just walked inside our house. And, you know, Joyce could be cooking or something, she could be not looking what she's doing, takes a step backwards, and then suddenly there's a cat under her foot. And, you know, that could be dangerous if she's carrying, you know, hot food or whatever. It could be dangerous for her, dangerous for the cat. So it became a problem, and so we've kind of been freezing the cat out a little bit and not always opening the door and saying hi. Like, we wouldn't do a whole lot, but sometimes we give it a little bit of milk. I tried giving it some tuna and it wouldn't eat it, and I was amazed by that. I thought cats loved tuna and fish, but wouldn't eat it. It likes cheese and fat things, you know, like fatty milk and cheese, and these little kind of salmon cracker things. It loves those. But yeah, so that was the black one, and we started freezing him out a little bit because we were getting sick of it just walking in our house as and when it pleased. But this ginger and white one is really overweight. Again, not my cat, my neighbor's cat. I have not contributed to its overweightness, I don't think, with giving it occasional crackers. And it's really scared. It's so terrified, but it's still, you can tell it wants to come in. Because it'll be sat outside my back of my house, looking through the glass window, or the glass door, sorry, and waiting to come in. And I'm like, just come in. I open the door and it just stands there terrified. But I've started calling it, I used to call it Ginger Mo, because it's ginger and white, but now I call him Fatty Puskins. And I was excited. I saw Fatty Puskins earlier and I started feeding him treats. And then the black one turned up, as it always does, and it ruined the whole thing. Because like we're trying to be less nice to you. We were trying to be good to the fat ginger one because it's so scared of us, trying to win it over. But then, you know, the whole thing could reset and we could end up having the ginger one come and pester us all the time. So maybe you should just stop taking care of my neighbor's cats for them. But it's irresistible. I don't have a pet. I can't in this house. I rent, and we're not allowed an animal of any kind. We're not even like a hamster. So when there's literally a cat in my back garden looking through the glass patio door, it's really irresistible to not give it a treat. So I don't resist. I give it a treat. Fatty Puskins. I love him. It's really funny, right? I'll put out treats for it and it'll eat them, but still be terrified. And if I raise my voice, or like I clap my hands, or I do anything that makes any remote sound, I can see it like shudder and shake and spaz, but it keeps eating. It's like it knows it's terrified, but it's not terrified enough to stop eating. It's a really funny visual that this cat is like terrified and shaking anytime someone even raises their voice slightly, or, you know, opens. It's usually the opening and closing of the back door. That's what freaks it out. So I'll like give it a treat and then I'll close the door and I can see through the glass. It like sort of shudders when the door closes, and but it doesn't look up. It knows that it's probably not a threat. It's just shaky and fearful. That's Fatty Puskins, and I love him. He's a sweet boy. He's not that fat. He's not, you know, like problem fat, worried for his health, but he's big. He's plush, and he's thick, and he's luxuriant. I would say it was a luxuriant cat, and maybe a little overweight for sure. But I like him. I think it's a him. I actually think the black and brown one is a girl, because I've seen other cats chasing her in the neighborhood, and I think they are male cats giving pursuit of a female cat. But I like the name Fatty Puskins too. There is a really fat cat in the neighborhood. It fortunately never comes into my house or into my backyard. Called Plum. We've called it Plum Chubbins. He was like our first cat buddy, because he would come over when I'd be outside. He would always stroll over, and I'd like pet him, and I never fed him anything. He doesn't need it. He's too fat. But there's Plum Chubbins, and then there's one that looked like Plum Chubbins, and it fooled me a couple of times, but it's like an evil version of him. He has the same pattern, but he has a scar on his face, and he's kind of angry and hisses at you. So we started calling him Bum Scrubbins, because he's like an evil version of Plum Chubbins. And Joyce and I was coming up with names for other cats, potential, like, I don't know, potential things that rhymed with Plum Chubbins or Bum Scrubbins. Or, you know, if you had one that didn't have any teeth, it would be Gum Nubbins or something, you know, stuff like that. Cat names that rhyme. Alright, well, I think I've got my frame here. And I don't know how long I've been streaming for today. But I think we should at least get him settled into his final position here.
Bum scrubbins.
Oh, thank you, Kimi Omega. Kimi Omega says, I've loved your name choices in general. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Okay, 66 minutes. All right, well, I probably won't run into an hour and a half, but I want to get this shot, or this part of the action done here. Nose is looking a bit weird. Let's do that maybe for the nose. Something like that for the knuckle just coming up. Huh. Something like that. Maybe the collar should kind of overlap here, like that. And settle down like there. I don't know. Maybe the opposite. Maybe it should be out. Oh. Something like that for the other bit of collar. Okay, so he's coming around, and don't worry, we'll put it in the main timeline and we'll look when we're done and see sort of where we're at. Excuse me. All right. Clean up that frame a bit, and we'll probably need to do another in between, just between these two, to really get it to sort of settle in. Let's have our hair sticking out like that. Pull out the hat at the back there. Clean it up a little bit. I don't know if this will work in motion. I'm being very quick. It's not like a slow motion at all. It's just really fast, kind of snappy little thing, but I think it'll work well enough. Okay. And let's go back to our main file now, and I want to see, do we need like a, does he need to be vibrating in anger here, or is he just going to be, I want him to be on the last one, so he's going to go, no, I think I want him to just ease on this one. Let's have him ease in there. So I'll add one more frame into our main timeline, and then we'll export it and see what it looks like. Let's get rid of some of these guide frames here, my roughs. And we'll stick an in-between in there. Because, oh, I see that the thumb is going to be visible on one glove, so we want to make it consistent. And let's really favor again our settled position here in the green line, just so that really animation is smooth and still fast. But you know what, guys? I have not taken very many questions today, so I'm going to see if there are any in the chat, or if you want to drop some in. I will see what I can get to. Because otherwise, I'm out of things to talk about. I've talked about Fat Cats, talked about Smash Brothers, talked about anime, having cool time-saving techniques I'm going to steal one day. And I should probably take a couple questions, so... Have you watched Scoob yet? Asks Davi88. No, I have not watched the new CGI Scooby-Doo animated movie. I would watch it. I'd actually planned. I thought that this cartoon was going to be out so long ago. I've had all of these release dates in mind, and I thought that maybe it would come out around the time of Scoob at one point, and my big celebration was going to be watching Scoob after I finished this. And I'm kind of glad that wasn't my celebration, because everything I've heard so far about Scoob is that it wasn't very good, and that's honestly put me off. I'll probably get around to it, but part of the reason I like Scooby-Doo is that I feel that it's survived over the years, and even though it's changed a lot over time, it's always come back to its roots. And my favorite thing at the moment are the 2D animated movies that come out once or twice a year. And those are very true to the roots of Scooby-Doo. They still draw the characters the same. Frank Welker is still voicing Fred and Scooby. He didn't start off doing Scooby, but he does Scooby now, and he's always done Fred. And I like that consistency. And now we don't really have that anymore. And I feel, well, I should say I don't feel Scoob was doing that. I don't think Scoob was really paying good homage to the legacy of Scooby-Doo. The rich legacy of Scooby-Doo. Something I take very, very seriously. So I've not watched it for that reason. I'll probably watch it eventually, but I didn't hear good things about it. I didn't like the trailer. Nothing about it really wowed me to the point that I thought I've got to go watch that. Geranium says, how many frames are left, do you think? On this animation, or like this shot, probably only about 15, 20 now, I would say. But in the actual cartoon, I don't know. It's 3 more shots after this, one of which is probably only about 30 or something. It's like an easy shot. I'll definitely do that today. Maybe even 20. One of which is probably more like 100. And then the other one is probably another 30. So maybe 150 total, as a guess. Tyler asks, if it's not too personal, are you and Joyce engaged at this point? Joyce and I are more than engaged, buddy. Joyce and I are together, man, permanently so. We tied the knot, dude, a long time ago. She is my wife. And I'm very, very, very happy about that. It's not something I talk about too much, but the reason why is because it happened 8 years ago. Oh, I can't believe I'm getting into this. It happened 8 years ago, back, and that, when we were just like, we were so young. We were like, you know, beginning of our 20s, and it was just, well, you're American, I'm British. How do we live together and keep the man off our backs? So the way you do that, one of the ways you can do that is if you get married, and then that makes it so that you can get a marriage visa to stay in the country. So we did that, and then it's like, oh, wait, we love each other to bits and we want to be together forever. All right, cool. So for years I called her my girlfriend, because to us both, we were like, well, you know, one day we'll do it properly, we'll have like our family there, and we still want to do that. We still want to do a proper ceremony and everything, and have like all of our families there, because my dad wasn't there, my sister wasn't there. It wasn't like a proper thing. We just did it in a registry office just so that we could live together legally, as she was, you know, an immigrant from America, and now it's like, oh wait, we absolutely are suited for each other and we will be together for all time. Okay, so we're gonna do it properly, and then I'll call it, like, I'll be calling her my wife regularly. Like, I don't say to people I'm married. I am literally married, she's my wife, but I usually say, like, I just call her Joyce. I don't say my girlfriend, because that's not really true, but I just say, oh, you know, this is my partner Joyce, or like my parents or something obviously refer to her as my wife, but they weren't at the wedding. So we're gonna do like a proper one in America, have a family there, have everyone there, and then I'll be like, yes, you know, this is my wife Joyce. But that's why it's slightly weird, and I know that sounds unusual, but it's because it was done a long time ago to get immigration together, and since then we've just been like, well, this is permanent because we love each other. So I was dumb. I wasn't even I was so like young and naive. I wasn't even thinking about anything permanent at that point. I just knew I wanted to live with this person, so that was why we hooked up and did it legally, so that we wouldn't have to deal with any of those kind of problems. No, Davey said late congratulations, dude. It was 12 years ago, man. Not 12 years ago, excuse me. It was 2012, so it was 8 years ago. And I'd like to get properly remarried on our own anniversary, so it's not confusing. I don't want like 2 wedding anniversaries. I want to just get married. We got married March 30th, and I'd like to get like properly married with a ceremony with all our families there on March 30th again, probably of 2019. Excuse me, 2021 would probably be a good year to do that, or 2022. I think 2022 would be perfect, because then it would be a 10-year anniversary of our legal ceremony, and it'd be really weird. I'd be like, hey everyone, I've been married 10 years, but also not at all for very long. Nabibble says, it's not a question, I wanted to tell you I was rewatching your cartoons earlier today and I appreciate how much the microphone quality and sound mixing has improved. Well, thank you. Thank you. I hope they continue to improve. Things are taking a step back, kind of, because there are some cartoons where I've used a really good microphone. In some cartoons I've used a really bad microphone. So like the microphone I used in Stubvarians episode 3 is actually worse than the one in Stubvarians episode 1. I was using my dad's recording studio for that. He has like a little home studio back in 2011 or whenever I recorded that. And then Stubvarians 3 was recorded last year, or end of 2018, and that has like my crappy microphone. I think the one you're hearing now, or maybe my other one. But I think I've gotten a little bit better with sound. I think Dogtooth has good sound, because I've still used my home recording setup, but we have an actual sound person. So yeah, sound is a really important part of filmmaking. It is actually half of the movie. I don't think people think about it like that, but it is. You can tell an entire story with sound alone, and you can tell an entire story with visuals alone, but if you're not using both to their capacity, I feel like that's half of the picture, or half of the movie, I should say. Picture is confusing in that context. That you're not, paying attention to. Maybe we should have the hair bounce a bit, like that. Alright. Let's get this guy in to our main timeline, and we'll see how he's looking.
Mediterranean says, it's a little funny in the Skyrim cartoon how it goes from a terrible mic to a proper one. I'm not sure what you mean by that. The Song of Skyrim had a better mic. That was my dad's mic. The original Skyrim cartoon was all one mic, so I don't think there's been one cartoon where I've switched microphones. It would have been switched, you know, on the basis of each cartoon having a different microphone, maybe, but not like within one cartoon. Maybe that I used a lot of reverb on one microphone, on one setting, so yeah, Tyler says there's a saying that people can forgive poor quality image, they can't forgive poor quality audio. Yeah, have you seen a video made by David Sandberg, the guy that directed Shazam? He did like an experiment where he took a scene from the film with the amazing audio but like bit crushed the image so it looked like crap, and then did the opposite where the image was great but the sound was crap, and it is a lot more watchable with crap sound. Sorry, with crap video than crap audio. Crap audio sounds like a Roman soldier. All right, so what do we got here? We've got this. Let me see. Let's get these guys in order. And got that one cleaned up. Got that one cleaned up. This one. This one. This one. I don't love it. It's okay. There's like some weirdness going on. Around here. I don't like this line, how it like separates. That looks crappy to me, so I'll go in and I'll fix that. And I want to add another in between here, just to really smooth this boy out. There's some scrappy drawing though, man. This is not great. Alright, so I'm gonna fix the hat on one and add one more in between. And where's the in between I wanted to add? It's in there. We'll see how we're doing for time, because I don't want to... I said I'd be free to make a call at 4. It's coming up for 20 past 3 now, so let me fix this guy. Let's just be lazy. Let's grab that line. Let's grab it. Let's just crib that little curve, because it's going to take me ages to try and redraw that. There we go. In fact, let's warp it a little bit just so we get a bit more of the hat. Oh, I see what's going on. And the nose is a bit cruddy there. Let's tidy that nose up just a touch. Some low grade animation, but oh no! Oh damn it, dude! You see this right here? Like the thick and thin. I can't do a thin line now. I can only do a fat line. See how it tapers here? That means the drivers need to be reinstalled. That's a big pain in the butt. Oh boy, you don't wanna see my desktop. It's covered in crap. Okay. Okay. You don't want to see stuff like this. Old commissions I drew for people. I drew so many commissions last year. I drew something like this for somebody. Like, that's what they asked me to draw, and I was needed the money. That was before I had Patreon properly up and running. All right, that's the sort of stuff I don't want to show you, but all right, let's reinstall drivers so I can finish the bloody work. Oh, what fun! All right, I'll be back in a minute to. Oh, damn it! Be back in the set, guys.
And we are back. I see people in the chat giving me crap for drawing a furry. I have no problem with drawing stuff like that for money, as long as it's not outwardly pornographic. To me, it's just, you know, a wolf girl or whatever. I'd draw that for Starbarians if I wanted to have a wolf alien in the background, or I mean, Hogstrong is a pig alien. I grew up watching cartoons that were full of characters like that, so I don't see why necessarily it's... Does it mean something else now? I mean, for me, my favorite cartoon when I was a kid, one of them was Thundercats, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I watched Biker Mice and Street Sharks. I watched all these shows with animal people in, and now there's something taboo about that, which I don't get. I never ascribed anything like that to it. They were just animal people to me, so I don't mind drawing a kind of Disney animal person for somebody. But yeah, I wouldn't draw anything that was super hardcore. That's disgusting to me. But I wouldn't draw a person in that kind of doing that kind of thing either, just because I want to keep some level of separation. I think if you couldn't find it in like an, I don't know, I was gonna say in an anime from the 80s, but there's been some a Rotsuki Doji is filled with sort of gross stuff. So yeah, I guess anything beyond titillation I probably wouldn't draw. I think topless female characters is okay, but I wouldn't go that much further. Alright, so let me finish this guy off. You disgusting deviants wanting to look at my old commissions I've drawn for people. I need to clean up my desktop is what I need to do, but I don't like cleaning things. Tyler, it's okay, man. I know people are giving me shit for fun. It's okay. Alright, let's get this frame in. This is my natural masculine instincts to start a fight. Even if it's a joke, I want to go, no! No, let's fight about it. That was a problem for me at school. I looked like a little wiener. If you've ever seen pictures of me as a kid, I was chubby, I had big glasses on, and I think it was probably fairly common knowledge that I was into all the artsy stuff. Like, I liked to draw, I liked to be in the school plays, but I couldn't let kids talk shit to me. That was always the thing that got me into fights. If there was a kid that would make fun of the way I looked, I'd have to make fun of the way he looked back, or try and cut him down any way I could. And I always ended up getting into fist fights, which was good training. Good training for my life as an animator, which is so far involved exactly 0 fist fights, but it was, I don't know. I feel like it's a very scary, not nice situation to be in, something like that. So if you get into it when you're a kid, in some ways it's like safe. You're probably not gonna get horribly mangled. You're probably gonna be okay. There's probably gonna be an adult brought into the mix fairly quickly if it happens at school. So if you can kind of break that barrier of being terrified of other humans hitting you, then if you ever need to defend yourself in a situation, and that's the only kind of situation you should be hitting anyone in if they're actively trying to hurt you, it might be a good way of getting the training wheels off. My advice is to try and keep very aware of what's going on and not let your fear and anger about the situation get to you. Just go, okay, I'm probably gonna get hurt. Let's try not to do anything illegal. Let's try and mitigate my own harm as much as possible. If you can get away, just get away. But if you need to actively hurt another person, make sure you got your legs wide apart so they can't push you over. Try not to get on the floor. Try to keep your arms up so you block their punches or whatever, and just let them have it a couple times on the nose just to get them off you. There we go. That's my fight advice. I had a couple of years ago, I was on a walk home from a night out with a friend, and this guy came up and started giving us shit, but he was one guy. He must have been drunk. He was one guy, and he was short, and it was me and my friend together. And I remember my friend looked like he wanted to fight this guy, and it was a thing of, well, like, let's not do that, please, because I don't want to hurt someone I don't know. I don't want to get hurt. He was a little guy, but he could have a knife, you know, you don't know, or he could just be crazy. So I just spoke to him and I said, look, we just want to go home. We've had a nice evening out. I hope you're okay. Let's not do anything silly here. Let's just go on our separate ways. And I put my hand up to stop him walking towards me, and he sort of walked into my hand and then said, "Don't touch me! Don't touch me!" And I was like, I wanted to say, look, you walked into my hand, you dumbass, but I didn't. I just took my hand away. I said, all right, look, I won't touch you. I would love to just go home and go to bed. I'm sure you would too. Let's just do that. And he kind of thought about it and went, okay. And he walked away, and that was it. That was the last physical thing, remotely physical thing that's happened. And it was diffused very nicely. And I think that may have even been the same night. It was the same friend in a club, and some douchebag walked over and went, "What are you looking at?" Like, as if there's anything good that can come out of that kind of situation. Like, why would you do that to another grown-up? I wasn't looking at him. Maybe I accidentally glanced in his direction, which would have been a complete accident as my eyes were gliding across the room, you know? But he had to come over and say, "What are you looking at?" Which is just such absolute douchebag starter kit behavior. And I had that happen to me as a teenager, and I did get into a fight with this kid because he said that, and I was like, "I'm looking at you, shithead," and and it turned into a physical fight with a kid that was much bigger than me. I told him that me and my friends were part of like a local club, and we were all gay, and we were looking for new gay members, and it turned into a fight, which I shouldn't have said that to him, but I was like a dopey teenager, and I was, you know, full of testosterone. But this dude came up and said this in a club in my town, and I thought, well, I don't want any kind of trouble from this guy. He's being an idiot, but I would really like to not get any kind of stuff happening as an adult where there's going to be bottles and fists and his friends. So I did what I thought was smart. And I said to him, "Oh, I thought I knew you from college, but actually you're a bit taller than him." Like, pretending I'd mistaken him for someone else, and also complimenting him. Subtly saying, "You know, I thought you were somebody, but you're taller than they are." And he kind of looked at me and went, "Oh," and walked away. And I think that was it. My backing down, it was cowardice, sure, but I don't want to get into a fight as an adult, because that's crap, you know. People can really get hurt. You can go to prison for the night or whatever. And so I just subtly complimented the guy, and he walked away, and nothing happened. So I guess that was that. Fights when you're an adult, they are not fun. Not that I've been in one as an adult. Last time I was like probably 18, but they just suck. Davi88 says, "What about the time you punched a dad in front of his kid?" That was not my fault. There was just some drunk guy walking home, and I guess he'd taken his kids to the pub and got tanked up. I was 17 when that happened, and the guy just started swinging for me, and I literally never looked at him, never said anything to him. I'd never seen the guy before in my life. I don't know his name, and it was a horrible situation. I had to call the police, which I did call the police. And the police didn't arrive until the next day. They were like, "Well, look, it's a Saturday night. This happens. Just, you know, we'll come and see you." The only thing that they were interested in, and which I was interested in too, is why the hell was this guy out with his 2 young children? His kids were probably about 11 or so. And all the information I could give them was they had a drunk old dad, I guess, and he had taken them to the pub and was out. He'd had 5 or 6 pints and then wanted to go and fight someone, and happened to see me, but I didn't get hurt or anything. It was just like a classic sort of falling in the dirt and wrestling a bit, and I hit him, and that was it, really. Elias Vatland said, "Would you kick ass if you were to get in a fight?" No, I don't think so. I did taekwondo for a couple years, and I'm not super short. I'm 6 foot tall, so I think I'd be okay, but I don't want to get into a fight with anyone. That's terrifying. I would like to not have anything like that happen. I would like to just... Doesn't matter if your pride gets stung a little bit. I think unless someone's really threatening you or your loved ones, you can pretty much just do whatever you can just to get out of it and go home and watch like AVGN on YouTube and eat some cereal. I would much rather do that than get into a fight with a human being. The fuck is up in Britain, says a Raptor Kill. Well, you know, this is the thing. I think this is the recipe for it. I mean, in America, right? People carry guns. Not everyone carries a gun, but there is that risk inherently. So I wouldn't go into a bar in America, especially down south, and like cause shit, or go into the hood and cause shit, because you could get fucking shot, right? But in Britain, that danger is, if you're not inside a city like London, you know, where there's a bit more gang activity, it's unlikely anyone's going to have anything on them. So it's more like that if there's a fight, it's just going to be punches thrown. Plus, you know, there's a lot more villages that you can kind of walk home. You can walk to the pub and walk home. So there's people coming to and from drinking establishments that have already had a lot to drink. And that is always when stuff has happened. It's been out in the middle of town, usually in the evening with me, like late at night. It's been somebody, either a gang of guys or me, you know, me by myself, or they're alone, or they're in a gang, and there's been alcohol, and it's like somebody doesn't like the look of somebody else. And it can happen. It's happened very rarely, and I don't go out anymore because I'm not a teenager anymore and I have no reason to go out and party. It just bores the hell out of me. But it does happen, unfortunately, when people are close together in small communities and there's alcohol and everyone's got something to prove. Terranium says they want to do a character that's a badass martial arts priest. I think that's a good idea, and I think you should do it. But before you do, check out the martial artist priest from the movie Dead Alive, also called Brain Dead. That's what I know it under. It's a Peter Jackson movie, one of my favorite movies of all time. There is a martial artist priest in that gets turned into a zombie. He's a cool character. He's also from New Zealand, so I think if you don't have the New Zealand accent going on with your character, there won't be any accusations of plagiarism. But his famous line is, "I kick ass for the Lord!" And then he fights some zombies. And unfortunately, he does get bitten. Oh no, he doesn't get bitten, I think he gets bitten, but he gets fucking impaled. And it's really cool. "I kick ass for the Lord!" "Your mother ate my dog!" Watch Dead Alive or Brain Dead if you want to watch a cool film. I don't know what this Lord of the Rings business is all about. People like so much. That's what he was talking about? Oh, I'm sorry. Someone already talked about that. Oh, wait. Davy88 was talking about that. I'm sorry. Well, I'm not keeping a good eye on the chat, everyone. We were literally talking about that film, Harry. I didn't... Oh, I see. Coming after me now. I didn't see that you were talking about Brain Dead. Well, there we go. We're on the same wavelength, and we didn't even know it. Lionel. Alright. Okay, well, you know, he's got another position that I'm going to put him in. Let me see. Can I get away with reusing this frame? I feel like I can. I think with a few modifications, I can get away with reusing this frame. I love it. When you can reuse a frame, it's like a magical, spiritual experience. There's literally nothing better. Bluebirds start singing. I'm like Cinderella. Everything's great. Actually, Cinderella had a terrible life. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know why I say I feel like Cinderella, but you know, animals come from the forest and make my bed. When you can reuse a frame, your life becomes so sweet. Although we're reusing it with some modifications here because the top of the hat kind of was a bit weird looking. It's still weird looking, but whatever. Whatever. The hair wouldn't be dragging quite that dramatically. And we'll get that sucker in there like that. Okay. And have him... Oh, did I? Okay, good. I don't like what the eye is doing here, though. That eyebrow line is weird. We're going to have the head sort of dragging back to its old position. Whoosh. Like this. Yeah. Okay. Let me see what's going on in the chat. Elias says, "Is it true you don't watch anime?" I do watch some, but yes, I don't watch much. I tend to dip in and out. It's more like I have this weird thing where I usually will watch a show to get a look and feel for the animation without wanting to watch the whole show. I'm always interested in pretty much any form of animation, especially hand-drawn, frame-by-frame, sort of traditional type stuff. I want to see it move and I want to look at it. I want to look at it and take it in and see what I can learn from it. But I don't feel the need to watch 100 episodes of it. You know, I'm interested in a lot of shows, their visuals, but once I've seen, you know, an episode, I tend not to get wrapped up in the story that much. Because unless it's really good and grabs me, I don't need to feel that way. In fact, anime is one of the better things, I think, at doing that in terms of pulling you in with a story. But I'm a little bit too busy for a lot of anime. This is sadly... it's not sad, because it's to my own design, but this is basically what my life is, guys. I draw pretty much all the time. You'd think I'd be a lot better at it, given how much I do it. But I'm pretty much sat here all the time doing something. I get a lot of questions along the lines of, you know, have you played this game? Have you seen this? I do things, but I'll basically be able to spare about an hour or two every evening for it. And it's usually a couples activity because I'm going to be doing it with Joyce. So it's got to be something that we're both on board with, a movie that we both want to watch, or a movie that a TV show we both want to watch, or a game we both want to play. I rarely just sit in my office and watch my own anime choices or my own, play my own games. Used to do that. I used to be more of a PC gamer, which I can kind of do by myself without, taking up the couch downstairs, but just don't have the time for it. There is something to be said for that bachelor lifestyle. Well, you've still got it, young men and young ladies. Have fun. Not that I don't have fun now, I do. It's just, it's shared fun. It's more of that selfishness has to sort of go away a little bit. once you're sharing everything you're doing. Don't like him looking directly at you. I think maybe you have the eyes like... Have the eyes kind of dragging? I don't know. Oh, I don't know. Have this bit of hat dragging a bit more. Maybe the hair. Let's get this fist up into position. Let me see. Okay, so folks, it's 3:45 now, and I've got to be free to make a phone call in 15 minutes. So I will be wrapping up the stream before then. But I think I have time to maybe get him roughly into his last sort of static position before he disappears. Let's draw that nose a bit better if we can manage that. Let's keep the forms a bit more consistent. And do something like that. Now we are going to be able to reuse another frame, which I kind of did that deliberately. If I go back a bit to here, I can take this frame and I'm going to change a couple things. And change the hand. Let me just hit save. I've not saved in a while, and it tends to be a good idea. It's kind of a good idea if you can save. Terranium asks, what do you mean those long form shows? You mean ones with 100 episodes? I mean one with more than one episode. That's what I consider long form. That's too much for me. For the love of God. Hang on, what are we... Wait a second. Stretching time. Hachimajig says, what has been your favorite animation you've made so far? I probably will like this one the best when it's done. Or maybe... I don't know. I like Starbarians as a whole, but I don't like the individual episodes so far. Episode 1's not good enough. Episode 1.5 is too short. Episode 2 and 3 don't have a good ending. Nothing happens in them. I think episode 4 will be a good episode when it's out. So I think this year, I think 2020 is going to be the years where I actually make my favorite cartoons. Thus far, being Dogtooth, this cartoon, and one of the ones that follows, hopefully. He's got cross eyes. I don't know if that's funny. I mean, the eyelids should be sort of doing, you know, the bottom of the eyes should be sort of doing this sort of shape. But I feel it's just funnier to do that kind of sharp. Boy. don't know what the eyes are doing there. Let me see it. Let me see it, man. Yeah, we need some like screwed up lines around. We need, see, you don't really have eyelids under. You have top eyelids, but you don't really have bottom eyelids. Like you can, an eye can sort of do this, okay, but it can't do this, which is what Family Guy does all the time, and I do that all the damn time. But you have like, you know, eyelids at the bottom, but you can't actually move them independently. You can only move your top ones. So I try to avoid the bottom eyelids, but sometimes they just you just want to use them a little bit. A little bit, just something to give you the, yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm all right with that. Zigzag says his nose grows. Yes, his nose grows. Faux shows. Maybe the nose could be brought in a little bit. Zigzag, you're probably right. Probably right, Zigzag, you proportions bully. Coming in here, telling me why the cartoons are all right. I mean, the nose should probably be like down there, but it's like Tracy Ullman. All right, let's just, whatever. We'll get it. It's sort of funnier with a bigger nose, though. That's something that I like about 2D animation. Drawing on model is for wimps, guys. Remember that. No, that's something I like about 2D is in 3D, you are manipulating a rigged character, like a rigged puppet. And a good rig can do a lot of great things, and there can be a lot of variety, and I'm sure that there are out there 3D rigs, they'll probably have them on Pixar movies, where you can have, you know, parts of the characters grow and shrink in unnatural ways, but ways that support the animation and support the pose that the animator is putting the character in. But that's not always going to be available, especially if you have a more limited rig, and that's something that I love about 2D animation, is that, let's say that you have a character that's doing a big impressive pose, their hair could get bigger for that one frame or that one pose or whatever, you know, their cape or whatever can billow out in an unnatural way because you're drawing it. But if you're using the rig, if the cape only goes out so much, or if you're using a physics engine in the animation and the cape is going to move realistically, you can't use it to support the pose or to support the character. Sometimes, you know, when Dogtooth is more dignified in this cartoon, his face is like, he's a little bit more stoic, the eyes are a little bit smaller, the nose is a little bit more sort of smaller, and he looks a little bit more kind of like, oh, he looks like a hero. And then there are moments where his eyes are like crazy, and his nose is long, and his face is all round and chubby, you know, and he's like having a fit. And it's funny to me that you can do that in 2D animation. These are not really the same character. They do not, you know, one does not equal the other, but because it's 2D, you can do that, and whatever I need him to look like for that one frame, I can draw him that way. And in 3D, I'm not saying you couldn't do it. You could have two different models for the same character, or you could get a way to animate between them, but it's gonna mean, especially if you're in a big production like Pixar or whatever, you're gonna have to be going back to the department and saying, guys, I need my character rigged differently for this one shot, blah blah blah. I'm sure there's lots of meetings to be held about that, and I'm sure there are meetings held at, you know, like a 2D studio about drawing characters off model, but I'm doing it all independently, so screw them. I can have my characters go horribly off model anytime I like, boy. I was watching the Making of Frozen 2 documentary, and man, the amount of controls they have on one character's face is daunting. Yeah, I agree, Gregor. I'm sure they do. On a big Disney production, you can probably do a million things. But, and I'm sure for comedy characters, they make sure you can do, like, goofy faces. What is the animation actually doing at this point? Does it overshoot? Oh boy, I gotta go soon. Okay, yeah, it does overshoot. Well, let's draw my overshoot frame, and then I'm going to be solid gone, okay? Oh boy. Yeah, we got the eyes still. Sorry, I'm not really looking at the chat here, but I'm trying to get this boy wrapped up before I disappear, so we can at least get a semblance of the animation. I'm going to have to, for sure, in between this a little bit more and get some more easing in this final position, but... Such an ugly frame. It's so hideous. Just gonna turn my AC up a little bit, folks, so it gets cooler in here. It's getting hot during the day. Yeah, I don't want my dad to call. I don't think he'll call bang on 4. I said call me after 4, but I want to make sure I'm free from 4 onwards. Okay. Oh boy. Nope, that's not the right pen, Harry. Use the brush. I don't know if that really is working out what I'm doing there. I don't think the hat looks like it's overshooting here. Maybe if that part of the hat is pushed that way. Because you kind of want to pull it back a bit. Oh boy. We'll figure it out. If it looks crappy today when we watch it back, we'll be safe in the knowledge that Harry will have another pop at it later today and fix it up. Hand in there like that. I don't think the chin would be doing that far forward a movement. Bring the shoulder up a little bit. Whatever. Alright. Let's just get this finished. You can tell I'm rushing this, can't you? Haha. Alright. Okie dokie. Alrighty, so I think that's good enough for right now. And I'm sure I'll see mistakes that I can go and fix. After the live stream, well, let's get him exported out. And then we'll stick it in the main timeline. It is 3:59, so I think I did pretty well on that front. Let's overwrite our old version and open up Adobe Animate. Ooh, wait, hang on now. Let's get this in there. Just make sure this is all synced up. Okay, and then he comes back. And I will definitely need to ease that out. But you can see, I think probably once I've done an easing in a frame in there, it's just getting him off the frame. So we nearly did it today. We nearly did it. I will definitely finish after the stream and get this shot colored in. I don't think I can get it shaded before tomorrow, but I'm going to get it finished before a meeting tomorrow with my sound guys so we can finish the sound effects for this shot. But let's take a look at it.
Already?
There we go. So yeah, I'll put some frames in there just to ease that position out there, and I might repeat them so he goes like, but here for the love of, he's like, for the love of her, you know, like shaking with rage, kind of like
Already?
the way we have the character shaking here. I really like that, the 2-frame shake. It kind of seems lazy, but I see it in a lot of anime and I like that. So that's something I've cribbed. I was talking a lot today about taking things from anime, but yeah, here we go. Double nose line, says Davy88. Double nose line? I don't know what you're talking about. About there. Let me see. No, I think the nose looks pretty good to me. I mean, yeah, like there's a little wrinkle there. That's intentional. Same way that we have like a wrinkle here, like he's snarling, you know, and the nostril is creased up a little bit. Alright, well I'm happy with that, everyone. One more time, and then I will take my leave of you.
Already? Already?
Great. Okay, well I'm happy with that. It's quick, it's snappy, it's cartoony, but it gets the job done. So thank you all for coming by today. Really appreciate it. I think we had a nice time. And Terranium says post this on Patreon. I don't know if I want to post 3 seconds on Patreon, but I'll post some updates soon. This cartoon's going to be out soon, so maybe on the Discord. Maybe not in the main Patreon, but maybe I'll be by the Discord later on and I can share some things if you remind me. Everybody, thank you so much. You guys are great. Really, really, really am very thankful you come by and you entertain me on these live streams, because I know that nothing's more boring than seeing animation get made in real time. But thank you all for coming by. Tyler, Tamagotchi, Joe's, Shocking Tunes, Davy88, Terranium, Kimmy Omega. There's a lot of folks. Hatchy Magic, Raptor Kill, you guys, Gregor, Zigzag. Really appreciate it all. Alright guys, I'm off now. Joe Dude It. I'm off now for good. Take care everyone. Bye bye. Oh no, my phone's going!